Hello guys, how are you all? Welcome to my channel. So, today we are gonna see, what if Naruto fall in love with Tashigi, part 1. Subscribe if you enjoy the video. Let's start the story. The pirate ship was flying over the battlefield unbeknownst by the marine or the pirates. It was the ship of the Force Pirates. Ice Age. A figure shouted as it appeared above everyone. Tendrils of ice shot out from the man and touched the waves of seawater, turning them into huge walls of ice. Kuzan. You brat, Whitebeard muttered as he saw who had stopped his attack. Akoji formed ice spears in the air as he fell towards Whitebeard. Partisan. They flew towards the aged pirate, but he lazily raised a fist and swung it at the admiral. Before his hand could move very far, it stopped as if it hit an invisible wall. Cracks formed in the air. Oh my, Akoji muttered as he felt vibrations in the air. His body shattered from the force and the pieces fell to the ocean. Akoji reformed himself before he hit the water and froze the area underneath him. Ice Age. The ocean froze quickly. Fire at the Moby Dick. All cannons were pointed at Whitebeard's ship. Well, isn't this nice and convenient to walk on, one of the many pirates shouted out. Whitebeard's pirate army left their ships to fight and retrieve Ace back from the marines. But the Shichibukai all watched a battle between the marines and Whitebeard from their posts. Bartholomew Kuma watched impassively with a Bible in hand. Unquixote Doflamingo looked excited as he watched the battles rage on. Deco Mariah was in the same state as Doflamingo, except he was marveling at the amount of powerful shadows and bodies he could possibly retrieve. Bo Hancock was worried about Luffy. She could only hope that he was safe at the moment. Dracul Mihik got up on the stone half-wall in front of them. You're going to join in, Doflamingo asked the man. This is merely conjecture, but the swordsman put a hand on the large black sword that rested on his back. The distance between us and that man. The pirates and marines continued to fight, with no clear advantage being seen. Weapons, manpower all seemed equally matched. Mihik swung his sword, and a powerful, green, and rather large gust of wind cut through everyone in its way towards Whitebeard. It's Hawkeye. The pirates and marines shouted. Cheeky brat, Whitebeard himself just smirked as one his most trusted sons stood before the wave. It had been a rather fierce struggle, but eventually the strike was stopped and everyone saw who had stopped it. No one touches Pop while I'm around, the man said with a huge smile on his face. It's 3rd Division Commander, Diamond Jaws. The marines and pirates shouted. A bright shine emerged from above the battlefield. Yasukani no Magatama.The yellow suit that shoots lasers at Whitebeard surprised many of them. Kizaru. The huge man said. The admiral had made his move and the lights got closer to Whitebeard. Dear, he said, as if it were a slight annoyance. That's a little bright, as he squinted his eyes when suddenly someone else leaped in front of him. The beam struck the man and exploded away from Whitebeard. The man covered with blue flames flew above the aged pirate. His body reformed without a scratch and his arms shaped like wings. And you take out the king right off the bat, you know. The bird-like man told the light man with a grin. It's 1st Division Commander, Marco. The marine shouted in fear and the pirates with happiness. The Whitebeard pirates. Kizaru's tone was one of amusement. Sure are scary. Marco continued to grin at the admiral, ignoring the awe that marines and pirates alike held for him. You got me. You liar. Kizaru replied. Time to show you how scary we Whitebeard's pirates are, Marco shouted as he flew towards the admiral. Please don't continue to shoot more beams of light at the Whitebeard pirate, watching as the man transformed into a phoenix. The beams exploded as they collided with the Zohan, but the blue flames healed any damage he sustained. As soon as Marco reached Kizaru, he attempted a kick to the admiral's head. It was blocked by the light man. Oh. Pretty effective, I'd say. Kizaru smirked at the phoenix man. Marco just sneered. You liar. He sent the light man flying towards a building and watched as he crashed into it, creating a large explosion. The marines were shocked that a man of Kizaru's class was sent flying away so easily, but their hopes rose as the man walked out of the wreckage. The admiral dusted his jacket as if he had just gotten a little dirty. Giant Division. Watch out for aerial attacks. Kizaru ordered in a rare commanding tone. The giant marine troops had started to advance. When suddenly, a large chunk of ice was thrown at them, courtesy of Jaws. And just as suddenly, a large fist of magma burst through the ice, evaporating it almost immediately. Admiral Sakazuki. The Naruto crew. The yellow cloak figure got up to leave the room when Naruto appeared before it. Where do you think you are going? Naruto asked. To kill that bastard. He was the one that killed my parents, yellow cloak figure replied. No, you are not, Naruto said. But why? Yellow cloak figure replied. You know why, Naruto said. But yellow cloak figure was cut off. Sit down, Naruto said, as the yellow cloak figure sat down. The red cloak figure with a twin katana on his back started to laugh. The yellow cloak figure turned around to the red cloak figure and said, shut up or I will kill you, making the red cloak figure run and hide behind Naruto. The monitor, the Kainu stood where the 3 admirals were sitting before the fighting. He hadn't even moved from his position. The pirates and marines alike screamed as the magma landed on them. The molten rock tearing and burning their bodies sent them into a slow painful death. One of the pieces flew towards Whitebeard, but he raised a he had in his hand to block the rock. He brought it to his face and blew the flames out with one breath. Magma brat, my birthday is next week. The King chuckled, his voice sounding sharp and remorseless. Too bad you will be 6 feet below by that time, Whitebeard. Next scene, go get them oars, Junior. The pirate shouted. It was all slowed when the ice started to rumble from something big in the distance. Ace is nice. The voice was loud and booming. It sounded like it had been spoken by a giant, but only bigger. I won't let him die. Even the giants were shocked by the creature that appeared. That's the descendant of Kunihiki Ors, one of the vice admirals muttered. That thing's even bigger than a giant. The monstrous giant roared as it took out a blade. Don't let him into the bay. He'll smash through the lines too quickly. That body. I want his corpse. Mariah drooled where he stood as he saw Ors Jr. My whole body is tingling. Don Flamingo stated as he rushed forward into the fight. Ors. Don't do this. You'll only end up as a target, Ace was screaming from the scaffold, still bound by his chains. Don't worry, Ace. I'll be right there. Ors Jr. ignored the pleas of his friend as he picked a battleship up and smashed 2 of the giant marines with it. Ors have opened up a path into the bay. Everyone. Charge. Whitebeard growled at how Ors Jr. was just taking all the hits. There's a fine line between being heroic and being suicidal. Old man. The giant called out to his father, don't stop me. I want to save Ace. He paused to cut one of the giant marines with his blade. As soon as I can. A few cannons rang out and explosions covered his arm. I can see that. Whitebeard shouted back, everyone. Go and back Ors up. Next scene. Hey, isn't that the pirate empress? She's so beautiful. Quickly. Ors are distracting them, so take them out. Hancock watched as some pirates fired at her with cannons. Moving quickly, she pulled a heart from her mouth and pulled back on it. Slave, she let it go, sending forth many arrows toward marines and pirates alike. Arrow. The little pink arrows pierced many on the battlefield, turning all that it touched into stone. The pirate empress avoided the cannonballs flying her way by dashing forward, kicking a man and his sword as she did so. His sword became stone and shattered from her attack, as well as the side of his face. Perfume femur. Hancock shouted as she spun on one leg, striking everyone near her. The remains of the men scattered around, the marines shocked that she would attack her allies. Same old Boa-chan attacks anything with a penis, the yellow-headed figure. Hancock, what are you doing? We are on your side. A captain shouted. Remember this. Her snake, Salome, coiled beneath her and rose her into the air. She looked so far up, she was looking down at them. All men are my enemies. She's crazy, but damn she's hot. Excluding that one, she muttered quietly, then she looked at the other. I never attacked you, I helped you out, remember that. What? You attack us, yet you expect us to. The marines stopped their outrage as Hancock coyly hid her face from them. By virtue of my beauty. Ah, she's just too. The marines all agreed that they couldn't report her to their superiors. Next scene. The next thing they saw was Ors Jr. had just defeated the giant unit and walking towards Ace when Bartholomew Kuma stepped forward with Naruto crew. White-chan, if you go through that door, I rip off your wings and show you who the demon is, said Naruto as the white-cloaked figure sat back down as the rest started to laugh. The monitor. Ursus Bartholomew Kuma had been standing on that wall. He had already compressed air into a small paw-shaped bubble shock. The bubble exploded when it reached Ors Jr.'s stomach. His sword shattered from the force and his comrades were sent flying away. The straw hat he had wrapped around his neck fell to the ground. It was light despite its large size. Ors Jr. remembered how Ace had spent hours making it for him and how the hat had served him well. Everyone. Fire at Ors. Shouted a vice admiral. Cannon fire erupted around him, covering him in explosions. With his vision fading, Ors spotted Doflamingo on the wall. But Naruto just put out his hand and said universal pull, and a lavender-cloaked figure was pulled back into Naruto as he wrapped his hand around her and whispered into her ears, where do you think you are going, Lavender-chan, Naruto said. As she was sitting in Naruto's lap with his hand around her, IIWW was going T2T the B-bath RR room, she shuddered. Yeah right, said the figure in a cloak made of paper. Shut up Paper-chan, lavender-cloaked figure said, while still blushing. The monitor floated above the giant and slowly touched the ground behind the large man. Ors Jr.'s leg flew off at the knee. Blood spilled from it like a waterfall, drenching anyone who had been underneath his body. This is a riot. Doflamingo laughed loudly as he saw Ors Jr. try to lift himself up. These reached the plaza. The marines started to panic as they saw Ors Jr. get closer to the platform Ace and Sengoku were on. Just a little more, Ors Jr. rumbled out as he slowly bled out. He continued to crawl towards Ace, then Gecko Moria appeared. But Naruto crew, stop right there, it is not time yet, Naruto said. But Captain, the blue cloaked figure said, as her eyes glowed, your charm won't work on me. Besides, it is not our time yet, Naruto replied, as the blue cloaked figure sat back down. The monitor, that stupid Doflamingo. Cutting his leg off when I said I wanted his corpse. A dark figure stood underneath Oars Jr.'s heart. Large bat-like shadow creatures started to rise towards the giant's body. Tsuno Tokage. The shadow creatures tore through the giant's body, coming within a few inches of his heart. Oars Jr. felt his life slipping from him as his hand came within a few meters of Ace. The last thing he saw before his eyes failed him was Ace's pained face. I'm sorry, Oars Jr. fell to the ground with a large thud, cracking the ground. Next scene, Oars Ace shouted. Whitebeard watched Oars Jr. fall to the ground. He didn't know if his son was dead or not. Ear wide open, Whitebeard. Glancing to the side, he saw one of the giant marines approaching him with a large axe. With one swing of his arm, the blade of the axe broke and he grabbed the giant's face and slammed it down into his quake powers. He made sure the giant wouldn't get up so soon. Arg. The giant screamed out before he died, then threw the body off the ship. Everyone. Charge over Oar's body. He ordered his children. Naruto crew, Whitebeard's cold, said the red-cloaked figure. Yeah, I wouldn't want to fight against him, said the yellow-cloaked figure. Don't worry guys, I protect you, Naruto said. You realize the last time you fought him he destroyed you without waking up, said the lavender-cloaked figure. Come on Lav-chan, that was several years ago, Naruto said while he pouted. But you still lost, said paper-cloaked figure, as Naruto cried in tears, as they all laughed. You may be old pops, but you still got it, Naruto, as he looked at the monitor. The monitor, this is so great. Doflamingo laughed. What's so funny, Doflamingo? Many pirates stood around the Shichibukai, attempting to surround the pirate and take him out. What's so funny, you ask? Doflamingo smiled widely at the pirates. Why, this feeling of standing at the turning point of an age. Right now, this place is truly neutral. The man he spoke to didn't notice the maniacal glint behind Doflamingo's glasses. 13th Division Commander, Water Buffalo Atmos. A marine shouted. The Shichibukai lifted his hand and Atmos felt his body move without his will. Oh no everyone. Get away from me. He begged his comrades to run, but they were too confused. Doflamingo laughed as he watched the division commander cut down his own men. Pirates or evil marines or justice, Lord knows how many times those labels have been passed around. He continued to tell Atmos as he charged even more of his men. Next scene. Hey, what's that coming towards us? What in the world? Something's falling from the sky. The large object was falling rapidly towards the battlefield and everyone looked up at it in confusion. I told you that you were going over the top. Voices could be heard from the object. It was this idiot's wink that did it. Are you blaming me for this, Croco boy? As it came closer, all occupants in the war widened their eyes. I wonder what the ice will look like after we get smashed on it. Oh. I'm rubber, so I'll be fine. You're so selfish, Straw Hat. But Sengoku, Arp. Sengoku turned quickly in his friend's direction. Is that another member of your family? Oh crap. Garp rose to his feet and held his head in panic. Luffy. What are you doing here? Naruto's crew. So that is Ace's little brother, I didn't think he would be here, Naruto said. Wonder if he is as reckless like Ace, red-cloaked figure asked. Monitor. Crocodile saw his chance. Whitebeard was just standing there, unprotected. It was time for revenge. He crossed the distance in less than a second and watched as his hook approached his foe. Remember me, Whitebear. The foot kicked his hook away and he flew back. Luffy, with steam coming from his skin and his limbs black, glared back at him. Straw Hat, I thought we had a deal. Crocodile shouted. So, this guy is Whitebeard, huh? Well, he means a lot to Ace, so you're not touching him. Luffy stood before the strongest man in the world without a trace of fear on his face. At Straw Hat, Luffy looked behind him to see that Whitebeard was looking down at him. The two stared at each other, while the fighting seemed to stop to watch the two pirates. Are you here to save your brother? Whitebeard asked. Luffy jumped a little and remembered where he was. Yeah. I'm here to save Ace. Fool, Whitebeard growled at the rubber man, and everyone thought the younger pirate had a death wish. Don't you know where you are? You won't be able to do anything by throwing your life off. Shut up. Luffy ignored Crocodile to glare at Whitebeard. I'm going to be the Pirate King, as he raised a hand and pointed at himself with his thumb. But Naruto's crew. He must have some big balls to talk to Whitebeard like that, said the yellow-cloaked figure. Or he could be an idiot, Naruto said, as they all laughed. Monitor. Alright. I'm coming, Ace. Luffy jumped off the Moby Dick, headed towards the platform where they held Ace. A pleasure meeting you, Whitebeard-san. That brat's Whitebeard smirked. It would be interesting to see what that Straw Hat brat would do. Next scene, the Marines were crawling all over the place. Luffy dodged several weapons swung at him and used a whip to clear them out of his way. Straw Hat Luffy. Prepare to meet your end. Next scene, Bartholomew Kuma stood on the wall, still in position, with his Bible pocketed. He was charging a laser in his mouth. The wall exploded and Ivankov, with the rest of the prisoners, began to make their move. Kuma, what are you doing? The Akama king couldn't believe that his friend was capable of not only firing beams from his mouth, but that he would attack Straw Hat Boy. Nice meeting you, Revolutionary Commander Ivankov. Doflamingo walked up to the Akama king. Don't you know the world government modified Kuma to be a human weapon? Ivankov would learn that his friend was no more. That he had been modified so much that Bartholomew Kuma was now dead. Next scene, stay back, Luffy. Ace screamed as the boy approached the pirate in disbelief. I have my own adventure, my own family. A weakling like you coming to save me, what do you think you can possibly do? Why are you here, Luffy? Cause I'm your brother. Luffy roared back as he ran through the navy when Moria appeared with a zombie soldier to stop him, but Jinbei destroyed them with seawater. Luffy, go and save your brother. I will handle Moria. Jinbei said as Luffy ran past him. Thank you, Jinbei. Luffy shouted. Sengoku started talking about Luffy while he was dodging blow from a giant. Ace is not Luffy's real, but an adopted brother who was taken in by Luffy's grandfather. Grap. Sengoku roared as everybody listened. Luffy's real father is the world's most wanted man dragon. Which shocked a lot of them, even Jinbei, but Hancock didn't care. Naruto's cruise. The dragon. We have to go right now and save the kid before he dies or dragon will kill us, red cloaked figure shouted as started to run to the control room. Stop right there, Naruto said. But red cloaked figure said. No buts, it's not time yet, beside I can protect us from dragon, Naruto said. Like the last time, blue cloaked figure said. Come on, that was 2 years ago, I stronger now, Naruto said as they all laughed at him. Worthless crew, they don't even believe in me, Naruto muttered. I believe in you, Naruto-kun, said the lavender cloaked figure. Thank Lav-chan, Naruto replied. Monitor, Straw Hat. A woman wearing glasses stood in their way now. Get out of the way, Tashigi. Came out of the nearby smoke. Slamming into Luffy's face, sending him skidding across the battlefield. Ah. It's you, Smokey. Luffy said as he looked up and saw his old rival. That Smoker. Smoker shouted as he emerged from the smoke that surrounded them. He had used some fires to cover his approach. I don't have time to play with you. Luffy shouted as steam came off his body. Gum gum, Gatling as Smoker flies into the air to dodge the attack. Don't ignore me, Straw Hat. Tashigi roared as he attacked Luffy, only from him to vanished. Where is he? Smoker asked when Luffy appeared in front of him. Gum jet Gatling. Luffy's attack hit Smoker, but it wasn't effective. Wide launcher. Smoker shouted as he attacked Luffy by slamming the tip of the jet into Luffy's neck and they plow into the ground. Smoker pinned Straw Hat. Now it all makes sense, Smoker said over a pinned Luffy. Why dragon saved you, F. How dare you, was heard, and Smoker was kicked away from Luffy. Hancock stood in front of Luffy, shielding him from the smokeman. But Naruto crew. That team, I going to kill him, shouted the black cloaked figure as a machine gun appeared in his hand. Easy Black, you get your revenge soon, Naruto replied. Monitor, how dare you touch my beloved like that? Hancock roared in anger. The kick hurts him, but they don't normally do. A confused Tashigi thought. So that Smoker said to himself. Hancock. Smoker shouted as he raised his adder. Do you mean to a band? Silence. Hancock screamed back. I am filled with such rage that I cannot even hear your words. The pirate empress looked more fearsome than anybody had ever seen her. I will chop you up and feed you to my beast. Hancock. Luffy picked himself up and saw who had helped him out. Hi. Hancock turned to blush heavily at the rubberman. Thanks again. You keep helping me out. Luffy said with a smile on his face. Luffy, you have to keep moving on. I'll take care of this guy for you. Putting her sweet smile back on, she hoped that Luffy would manage to save his brother. Naruto crew. Looks like you lose your chance, Captain. She already taken red cloaked figure. Don't be stupid, Luffy can't handle a woman like that. She will be mine, Naruto replied. You now, she will try to kill you the moment she sees you, yellow cloaked figure. I'm sure she has already forgiven me, Naruto replied. You made her hate men even more, paper cloaked figure said. Monitor. Thanks, Hancock. I really owe you. The rubber man hugged her and ran off. He missed how the Shichibukai collapsed to her knees from being overwhelmed by her feelings for him. Naruto's crew. Boy, she has it bad for Straw Hat, yellow cloaked figure said. Yeah, but I thought she hated men, black cloaked figure replied. Maybe he is an exception, paper cloaked figure replied. Maybe you are right, lucky fool, black cloaked figure said. Then he was hit by an invisible force, sending him across the room. Monitor. It then shows Luffy running towards Ace. Then he sees Hawkeye with his black sword in his hand. Naruto's crew. Akanomi no Minku, Hawkeye Mihek, yelled red cloaked figure as he pulled out his two twin katana to slash the monitor showing Hawkeye, but it was blocked with a katana with a TS on the handle. Easy there, Red, his time will come soon, Naruto said as he pulled away his sword. Yes, Captain, red cloak figured said as sat back down. You will pay for what you have done to me and my crew, Takanomi no Minku. Monitor. Luffy jumped to the side just as a gust of wind passed by, cutting everything in its way. Ahead, there stood one man Luffy knew he couldn't fight. Dracula Mihik remained where he was. He only looked at where Luffy was. Hoping to use some of the fighters on the field as a shield, Luffy jumped behind some pirates. The rubber man was disappointed to find that his body was cut from the swordsman's skill. It was a testament to the greatest swordsman in the world's skill that he had not cut the pirates. "You still remain in my range, Straw Hat Luffy." The man's voice sounded as stoic as ever as Luffy fell to the ground, bleeding. Jinbei walks in front of him. "Takanomi no Minku, if you want Ace's brother, then you will have to go through me." Jinbei, Luffy said. "Go and save Ace," the fishman replied as Luffy ran off. Son of the sea Jinbei Takanomi no Minku raises his sword at Jinbei. "Fishman karate." Jinbei shouted as he entered his stances. "Fire." The Marines shouted as they fired cannonballs at them. Jinbei shouted arabesque brick fist, the cannonballs frozen in mid-air by the force of the attack. Takanomi no Minku swung his sword, cutting the cannonballs in half, causing the balls explode one at a time. Jinbei shouted, "I won't let you touch Luffy-kun." Sharkskin palm thrust to block the explosion. No die shark brick fist as he attacked Takanomi no Minku, who thrust his sword forward to meet Jinbei's fist. As the two meet, there was a green energy and Jinbei was sent flying into the air and crashing down right through the ice floor into the water. Naruto's crew, no. Deep pink cloaked figure shouted as it rushed towards the door but was stopped by Naruto's voice. "Stop, Jinbei is alright," Naruto said. A pink cloaked figure was cut off. "That attack is too weak to do any real damage," Naruto replied as the cloaked figure sat back down. "Monitor, you are in my range." Straw Hat Takanomi no Minku went after Luffy, who was stuck into the wall, as he jumped into the air and came down with his sword pointed at Luffy, but Luffy was able to escape just in time to avoid the sword. Luffy, while still in second, was about to attack Takanomi no Minku Gum Gum Jet Bazooka when he suddenly pulled back his hand. Naruto's crew. "Shit, that kid was luck," Naruto said. "Why is that blue cloaked figure asked. "If he didn't he would have lose his hands," Naruto replied. "Naruto-kun, did he just use Kenbun Haki?" Lavender cloaked figure asked. "Yeah, and I believe Takanomi no Minku knows too," Naruto replied. "Monitor, across the battlefield, Crocodile, I will never join you, weak fool. I only work with people at my level," as he laughed, "but if you insist then you could be my underling." Doflamingo laughs, "You are a bigger fool than I thought for turning down my offer." Sable's Crocodile shouted in an attempt to blow Doflamingo away. The attack is not confined to Doflamingo, though, as Buggy is accidentally sucked into the vortex as well. Next scene, Mihik moved his head to the side as a fist came shooting past him. He attempted to cut it, but it had already retracted. He could sense the rubberman's attacks, but Luffy was able to do the same. The two traded strikes, but none connected. Mihik cut one of the gigantic ice walls in half. Luffy's fist smashed hundreds of soldiers with just one blow. Luffy gave a tremendous shout, but Hawkeye's never faltered. He had felt willpower equal to, if not, stronger than the Straw Hat captains. The storm was blowing their way, and Luffy looked up at it. Mihik took this chance to cut the rubber man in half. Gum Jet Decoy. He managed to avoid getting cut by replacing himself with Buggy. The man was cut completely in half. Straw Hat. "You damn bastard." The man's halves reconnected and he screamed at the rubberman. "Damn it. You." He pointed to Mihik. "You're Hawkeyes, aren't you?" Mihik replied, "I'll show you to ignore Captain Buggy." Buggy shouted as he looked at the swordsman Buggy Ball as he shot a red ball at Mihik, who used his sword to hit back at Buggy. Boom. Mihik noticed that Luffy had escaped. "This is not over, Straw Hat Luffy," as he chased after Luffy. Luffy, having finally gotten a break, dashes back towards the platform, not seeing Mihik coming at him. With Marco, seeing that Mihik was going to attack Luffy again, Marco calls over Whitebeard's 5th Division Commander Vista. "I'm counting on you to keep Ace's brother alive." "Hi," Vista shouted as he ran over to intercept Mihik, thus saving Luffy. "Who are you?" Luffy asked his savior. "No time to talk," Vista said as Mihik jumped back. "Go and save Ace." "Thanks, old man," Luffy shouted as he ran off. The flower swordsman Vista. Mihik recognizes him. "It is an honor to be recognized by the world's strongest swordsman," Vista said with a smile on his face. Mihik had heard of him. Mihik replies by saying, "Only a fool would not have heard of you." Next scene, Luffy continues to make his way towards the platform. Mihik comments on how he has the strange ability to make anyone around him an ally, an ability that is the most dangerous in the world, as he slashed swords with Vista. Next scene, "It's time, cut the feed." Sengoku ordered, so that the civilians would not lose faith in the Marines, as such a tragedy would be too much for them to witness. All they needed to hear after the battle was that we won. Sengoku signaled Sentomaru to begin the Pacifista squad to advance behind the attacking pirates. He had to also order 2 Pacifistas to fly ahead to stop Straw Hat Luffy's approach. The pirate was gaining more ground with each ally that managed to stop anyone's attempts to slow him down. Next scene, suddenly, more battleships begin to appear from behind. As the pirates note that they are not allies, Whitebeard, Luffy, and Ivankov recognize those on board. Sentomaru has arrived at the battle, backed up by an army of at least 9 Pacifista. Naruto's crew. Shit, so that what they have been hiding, Naruto said. You knew about this, Captain, said the black cloaked figure. I knew they had created a copy of Kuma, but not that many, Naruto replied. So that why we have not entered the war yet, asked the pink cloaked figure. That one of the reason, Naruto replied. You said one of the reasons, that means you have more reasons. What are they? Paper cloaked figure. Well, I wanted to see what their forces can do, Naruto replied. Now that all of your worries have been proven, are we ready to join the war? Asked a red cloaked figure. Not yet, Naruto said. You have another reason, don't you, yellow cloaked figure asked. Yes, the force tells me that they are trying to trap all of us in a way that we can't escape, Naruto replied. Do you know how, asked lavender cloaked figure. No, and that's the problem, Naruto replied. Monitor. It showed Sengoku talking in a snail. Attention all marines, get off the ice. I repeat, get off the ice. You heard the man fall back. Next scene. Hawkeye and Vista slashing swords were evenly matched. Then Vista jumped into the air and shouted Rose Rondo, and rose leaves started to rain down out of nowhere. Impressive Hawkeye, but he kept his cool and swing his sword world's strongest slash destroy the rose leaves and head towards. So Vista blocked it with his two swords in an X form, then redirected it into the air. The Shichibukai turned around to see the marine retreating, so it's time. He had been informed of Sengoku's plan, and so they were told to be in the courtyard off the ice before it was too late. It seems like our duel has to be cut short as he resheathed his sword and walks towards the courtyard. Yes, see you around, Vista replied as he went back to help the others. But Naruto crew. What the hell just happened, shouted black cloaked figure. It seems like Sengoku is about to make his move and does want the public to see it, Naruto replied. So what are we going to do, Captain white cloaked figure asked. Cut their feed and activate the eye in the sky, Naruto replied. Activated now, shouted paper cloaked figures as a hatch out at the bottom of the ship a bird flew out and started descending. There is a great disturbance in the force, Naruto said as he fell to his knees. What do you mean, Captain? Asked lavender cloaked figure running over to him. Something bad has happened, Naruto replied. On the battlefield. Ah, squad. How's the battle going? Whitebeard greeted his son as he got up onto the deck of the Moby Dick. Squad, captain of the Maelstrom Spider Pirates, looked a little injured, but relatively okay. His clothes were stained with blood and his sword had its fair share of the crimson liquid as well. He sheathed the sword and looked his father in the eyes. They're pushing us hard, but we're gradually gaining ground against the Marines. Those pacifistas really did a number on our forces. Yes, their weapons are strong. Soon, I'll be joining the fight, so don't worry about a thing, my son. Whitebeard watched as Squad walked in front of him to peer over the side of the ship. You've always been there for us, Pops. The man sighed and drew the larger sword tied to his waist. If it weren't for you, I imagine most of us wouldn't have had a reason to live anymore. His father put a large hand on his shoulder. Everything will be alright, Squad. We'll rescue Ace and all of us will go back home. Squad laughed shakily. He turned to grin up at his father. Yes, all of us will be going home. Whitebeard returned with a grin of his own. But Naruto's crew. Captain, we turn on the monitor now, Paper Cloak said as they turned on the screen. The monitor, swinging his massive fist to the side, massive cracks formed in the air. The giant walls of ice that had enclosed the pirates into the trap the Marines had caught the Whitebeard Pirate Alliance and exploded with an unreal force, sending large amounts of shards into the air. As it all cleared, the walls that had kept them all in were reduced to nothing, moisture in the air. If any of you want to leave, you may. Whitebeard addressed his sons with a voice filled with anger. I will not be ashamed. But if you wish to stay, know this. Whitebeard glared directly at Sengoku. Stay out of my way. Naruto's crew. Naruto's crew was still shocked to see the power of Whitebeard. He was a monster. Shit, did you just see that? Naruto red cloaked figure shouted. That is not what I was looking at. How did Pops get that stab in his chest? Naruto asked as his anger rose as everybody started to float in the air. Naruto-kun, please calm down or you will destroy the ship, yellow cloaked figure shouted. You will get your revenge on the fool who did that, shouted paper cloaked figure trying to calm down Naruto. Then they all came crashing down. Thank Kami, they all thought. We are entering the war now, Naruto shouted. Aye, Captain, lavender cloaked replied as she prepared the ship to descend. Next scene. Aye, Whitebeard Vice Admiral John Giant shouted, thinking he could kill a weakened Whitebeard. Shave as he vanished and appeared behind Whitebeard. John swung down his sword on the Whitebeard who blocked it with his weapon. You're in my way, Whitebeard told him as he easily pushed away the giant sword, making John lose his balance. Then Whitebeard dropped his weapon and grabbed the air around him, making everything spin, and I mean everything. Then an earthquake shook up the place, making every fold in the whole island. The sea started to tilt, thus destroying some buildings, the ice split, and a great tsunami came carrying a navy ship with it, crashing it down on other ships. Doflamingo laughed like a madman seeing the destruction around him. Damn bastard John Giant attacking Whitebeard again as he swing his sword down at Whitebeard. Too slow Brad Whitebeard was too fast for him and jumped into the air and punched John in his stomach with his left fist coated with his DF power, sending a shock wave through the giant's stomach and destroying everything it met and head toward Ace, but suddenly it was deflected by the three admirals. Next scene, Luffy had ignored how the Marines had retreated from the ice to fortify the walls that barred his way. As soon as the rubber man reached the walls, they rose high into the air. Unbeknownst to Luffy, walls had surrounded the entire bay that had been frozen by Aokiji before the war broke out. The only ones left on the ice were the Whitebeard Pirate Alliance, the pacifistas, and some stranded Marines that were unable to make it back to the mainland. In a rage, Luffy pounded his fists against the walls, unable to do more than to dent the thick metal obstacle. Next scene, magma started pouring down Akanu's hand, then he shouted Ryusei Kaizen, Meteor Volcano, as he started lava into the air. Naruto's crew, don't worry guys, it won't even touch us, lavender cloaked figure said to everybody's mind at ease. Monitor, giant magma fist, came raining down, destroying everything it touches, ship and pirates. As the fist rained down, it also melted the ice too, forcing the pirates back. As they turned back, they met up on some pacifistas who attacked the pirates, then the magma fist hit the Moby Dick, destroying it. Naruto's crew, how far are we? Naruto shouted. Still too high for us to jump from, give me 10 minutes, Lavender replied. Make it 5 minutes now guys, are you ready? Naruto said. Hi, they all shouted. Red, when we land you will have a mihik. He started, then he turns to black cloaked figure. You have smoker, and any pacifistas? Naruto said, then he turns to lavender cloaked figure. You have Doflamingo? Naruto said, then he turns to white cloaked figure. You have Kuma? Naruto said, then he turns to blue cloaked figure. You have Moria? Naruto said, then he turns to pink cloaked figure. Pacifistas, and any vice admirals that attacks you? Naruto said, then he turns to paper cloaked figure. You have Kizaru? Naruto said, then he turns to yellow cloaked figure. I know you want a Akainu, but you know the reason you can't, so you will have Aokiji. Naruto said. I will take care of Akainu. You will only engage them on my command, Naruto replied. Yes, Captain. They all shouted. Now it's time to get this show on the road, he said as they continued to descend. Monitor, the Marines were planning on eliminating all enemy pirates as they were trapped in the walls, but Oars had foiled that plan. They then changed to intercept and catch the pirates in a bottleneck around the opening. Concentrating all fire on the opening would eliminate most, if not all, of the enemies that would dare cross that path. They didn't expect a torrent of water to leap over the wall and crash into the earth of Marineford, depositing the one riding the current. Monkey D. Luffy, captain of the Straw Hat Pirates, stood hunched over in the middle of the most elite Marines the world government had to offer, holding a broken mast. All three admirals stood behind the group, prepared to defend any attacks that would reach the execution platform. But the mighty roar, Luffy felled every Marine around him except for the admirals. You certainly are a bold one, Akainu snorted derisively, Dragon Son. Geez, isn't this stage a bit too much for you, Straw Hat? Aokiji looked less than pleased as he let loose another sigh, his breath forming a little mist. You certainly are a scary one, Straw Hat. Luffy Kizaru drawled out slowly as he grinned at the pirate captain. Luffy's eyes settled on the admirals as he let out a low growl. Naruto's crew. Suddenly Naruto got a vision and got up and started running to the escape pad. Shit, they going to kill Ace? Naruto shouted. Naruto, we are still too high. Yellow cloaked figure shouted, but Naruto didn't listen. He ran into an empty pad and turned it on. Shit, lavender faster, paper cloaked figure shouted. Hi, lavender cloaked figure replied as they descended faster. Marineford. The rubber man jumped into the air, swinging the large mass towards the three powerful enemies in his way. But the quick touch from Aokiji, it froze in midair. Undeterred, Luffy kicked it at a speed that was too much for many of the soldiers, with a cry of stamp Gatling. Equally unfazed, the frozen mast pieces passed through the admirals. They had been a little unprepared when Luffy touched the ground, his legs compressing and decompressing as he rose to shoot past them. In a flash, Luffy covered most of the distance between him and Ace. Luffy saw Ace's eyes widen as he realized how close Luffy was approaching the platform. Sorry, but you're far too slow. Looking to his left, Luffy saw Kizaru poised to kick him in the face with a kick charge with his light powers. Instantly, the rubber man found himself crashing into one of the many buildings that lined the coast of Marineford, prepared to execute the prisoner. Shocked, Luffy pulled himself from the rubble to see the two executioners that stood near Ace drop their blades upon their prisoner. Ace was about to be executed when suddenly a giant handprint appeared in the ice a few feet in front of Whitebeard, crushing a few Navy soldiers, causing everybody to freeze in shock. Hey Sengoku, I hope that is not who I think it is, Garp said to him as he saw what had just happened. I hope he is not supposed to be dead, Sengoku replied as he saw the handprint in the ice. Yeah, we can't afford another powerhouse, Garp said. Cuckoo, that shocked everybody who heard that, laughing before, but none was more shocked than Ace and Akainu as they saw a figure landing. "Shida, can't, you are supposed to be death," shouted Akainu. Then the figure took off his cloak so that everybody could see his long red hair, like Zane from Yu-Gi-Oh! GX, and face, the same thing that Dark Zane wears in Yu-Gi-Oh! GX, with his 3 katanas strapped to his back. Then suddenly he pointed a finger towards Ace. But Ace, the 2 guards that were about to execute Ace, were sent flying off the platform, which shocked everyone on the battlefield and momentarily stopped and stared at the miracle. WWH, what? "You can't be Naruto, you're supposed to be dead," Ace just shouted as he looked at Naruto. The admirals went wide-eyed, Garp choked in surprise, and Sengoku became ghost white. The Shichibukai passed and present all reacted differently. Gecko Mariah went wide-eyed in fear and started to tremble. Doflamingo started laughing like an idiot. Jinbei had a small smile on his face. Crocodile was scared shitless. Bo Hancock had a light blush as she remembered her Luffy-kun until she saw Naruto when her anger started to form. Kuma remained expressionless and Mihik started charging up his sword and the fire raged in his eyes. It scared some people. But the pirates. Among the pirates all was silent until a deep booming laugh was heard through the battlefield. Everyone turned to look at the source and was shocked to find it was Whitebeard. "I should have known you were a dead brat." Whitebeard laughed. "What's going on?" An oblivious Luffy asked. "That Luffy-kun is a game changer," replied Jinbei. Whitebeard also said to grinning ladies and gentlemen, pirates and marines, "He is indeed alive, the living force Uzumaki T Naruto." As Whitebeard shouted out Naruto's name, it sent a shockwave of panic throughout the navy. "Should not the living Forsu our doom," said a navy soldier. "I thought he was dead," said another navy soldier. "But admirals, no matter, I will kill him again," Akainu said. "This just got more troublesome," Aokiji said. "Boy, he looks scarier than the last time," Kizaru said in a laid-back voice. "But Ace, that can't be Naruto. I saw him as he fell into the sea." Ace thought was cut short because of a scene. "But Naruto, Goku, thank you for the intro, pops, it's good to be back," Naruto shouted. Then a few cloak figures fell from the sky behind him as everyone was wondering who they were. Naruto looks around as his eyes meet Hancock and blows her a kiss. He could see the anger in her face, and if looks could kill, he would be dead 10 times over. The mono sleeve hammer Naruto was sent flying back a few feet as his crew rushed towards him. "Are you alright, Captain?" asked red cloaked figure. "I'm fine, but I deserve," what Naruto said as he got up to see who had hit him. "Hina-chan, what up?" Naruto said. "Don't Hina-chan me, you cheat on Hina with her best friend," Hina said. "Yes, that definitely," Naruto Ace said as everybody sweat-dropped, wonder why they fear this guy. Suddenly Naruto dodged a strike from his sword, but he got caught with an uppercut and then the back of the sword to his stomach, sending him to the ground. "I deserve that one too," Naruto said as he got back up again. "Tashigi-chan, you are here too," Naruto said. "Don't call my name, you team, you sleep with that slut Hina the same day you slept with me," Tashigi yelled. "Hina is no slut, you bitch," Hina replied as the two started to fight as Naruto took his time and moved away from them without them noticing. But as Naruto walked away, a giant fist crashed down on him, pounding him down into the ground. "You team, you will pay for leaving me," said Sandy, the unnamed female giant in the giant unit, as his crew ran to him, forcing Sandy to leave. "Let me guess, you deserve that one," said the black-cloaked figure. "No, that's the only one I don't deserve," Naruto said. "That bratty never learns," said Whitebeard with a smile on his face. "So the rumor about him being a legendary ladies' man was true, but I still wonder, how did he have sex with that giant?" Marco asked the question that is on everybody's mind. "Damn. How did you have sex with her? She is like 10 times your size." Red-cloaked figure asked as everybody tried to listen for Naruto's answer. "Let's just say I used the force," Naruto replied as his nose started to bleed. Then everybody looked at Sandy, who had a blush on her face. Then Naruto dodged a sword. "Vice Admiral Doberman, long time no see, still sporting the scars I gave you," Naruto said as Doberman growled at him. "They make you look more handsome. You will pay for sleeping with my wife," Doberman shouted. "Oh, Katsaya-chan, she had one of the tightest pussy I ever felt. I thought she was a virgin until she told me she was married to you and had 3 daughters my age at the time," Naruto said as both Navy and pirates alike started to laugh. Unknown location. "Mom, I can't believe you cheated on Dad with the living force," said Saya. "I couldn't resist him, look how hot he is and all that power," Katsaya said while having a mini orgasm. "Yeah, you are right, so how was he in the sack?" Samui asked. "Let's just say I couldn't walk for days," Katsaya replied as blood came out of her nose. "Damn. So when can we meet him?" asked Joe. "You are not going to meet him, beside you girls couldn't manage that monster," Katsaya replied. "We can manage anything you can, old lady," Samui said. "What did you call me?" Katsaya asked as tick marks appeared on her face. "Then nothing," Samui shuddered. "Are you sure you want to meet him?" Katsaya replied. "Yes we are," Saya said. "Are you really sure?" Katsaya said. "Yes we are really sure," Cho said. "Are you really sure?" Katsaya said. "Yes we are." They all shouted. "Fine, you don't have to yell, just make sure you can handle this eyes," Katsaya replied as she showed them the length and width with her hands, which caused the girls to be blown back with nosebleeds. 5 minutes. Mom, how did you manage that monster? Saya asked. Grade secret kid, Saya replied. Then the three girls started kissing her feet. Please teach us, they all yelled. But Naruto. Doberman swung his sword at Naruto, but Naruto dodged and waved his hand in front of Doberman's face. I am not the guy you are looking for, Naruto said. You are not the guy I'm looking for, Doberman replied. You are looking for Vice Admiral Momonga, Naruto said. I'm looking for Vice Admiral Momonga, Doberman replied as he turned around and rushed over towards Momonga and attacked him. You're dead, I can't believe you slept with my wife, Doberman yelled. What, I never touch her, Momonga said as he crossed swords with Doberman. But Luffy. Hey Jinbei, what just happened, Luffy asked. Luffy-kun, that what Naruto called GD mind trick, it allows him to manipulate a person's mind, Jinbei replied. So Sul. Luffy said with stars in his eyes. But Naruto was about to charge the bay when a powerful green wave came at him, but Naruto just stood there and laughed as the wave got closer and closer until the red-cloaked figure stepped in front of Naruto and shouted as he pulled his two twin katana and shouted, flare up now. Thanks for watching my video, see you next time, till then sayonara.